Hi, and welcome to Monster Town, right? So this is part of the Toast Horse patron tier. And, well, I'm going to be talking about the creative process that went into making Monster Town the installation and Monster Town the short story. The Toast Horse patrons are huge for me. Right now, I have one amazing Toast Horse patron, and that patron is Anne. So Anne, this creative process video is just for you. This is the first time that Gimmemon, my Patreon identity, has collaborated with another artist to create a photo set and a story. And in this case, it's actually an installation because it's here at Turbine Flats, which is like an artist, entrepreneur grouping of offices connected to a coffee shop. And where this installation is right on a main corner. So a lot of people see and stop to look at Monster Town. My involvement in Monster Town was to gather a lot of the raw materials, but when I say that, it doesn't have anything to do with the monsters themselves. That is all my collaborating artist responsibility. That is what he brought to the table. So I'm going to let him talk about those. But one of the things that I did for this installation was I pulled together a lot of the raw materials. So anything you see here, houses, some of the little crazy folks that are inside the tiniest house on the hill, the little cloud dog, the little house next to it that's clearly like an older fashioned plastic toy. That's all stuff that I bought just out of total interest and fascination in old broken toys in general, and the desire to create miniature, intriguing characters. That's what Cloudy, aka Rufus, because Rufus, aka Cloudy, the little dog, has been in a previous photo set that I've done in story. So it's nice to bring him back here. Giving Amos raw materials to create this installation was the first thing that I did, but I closed it out by writing the story for the town that he created. And I did that in some degrees in collaboration with him as well. Amos is a great storyteller. I love to tell stories, so we talked about what this would be like, what all these characters were doing. He had some great ideas. I incorporated them, wrote them up. I loved that people were asking about what would happen to the little white dog, so I hope I made that clear in the story. And just an opportunity to incorporate whimsy and strange magical realism in my stories, like the idea that Cloudy is actually a dog made of clouds, and he has to be fed on water vapor and particulate to get fat and fluffy. Makes me laugh. So that is my breakdown of my collaborative process. We're going to pause, and then we're going to hand it over to Amos, and he's going to talk about his collaborative process.
Where to begin with the story of Monster Town? When Dorothy asked me to do an installation, this is not the first installation we've done here, but this is the first one we've shown on her Patreon. I was immediately inspired to do something with monsters. Dorothy has a bunch of monster figures in our collection here, but ultimately I remembered that I had a bunch of these Ultraman figures, which are about 5 or so inches tall, which I ordered from Japan. They're very inexpensive. They're made of relatively soft rubber or maybe vinyl, I'm not totally sure, but you see that they're pretty detailed for how inexpensive they are, and they all come from the classic Ultraman series. We didn't talk specifically too much at first about a story, but I decided to show the moment, the moment right before the climactic battle, where our heroes in the center are completely surrounded against insurmountable odds and challenges. And I wanted to create a theatrical atmosphere using all these cotton balls torn up with light glowing through them, which have got LED strings, which would run underneath the cotton balls and into the houses. I took some of Dorothy's figurines and made little we've got our, who are these people? Potential victims? I don't know. They're guarded by the little cloudy dog, which Dorothy had, which I've always found so charming. But I didn't think too hard about the story at first. I just wanted to make it dramatic and theatrical and draw the viewer into the scene, and just something that would spark the imagination. What's at stake? What's going on here? Something that Dorothy could maybe turn into some kind of story. So that was basically, I like, I think simplicity has a certain strength to it, so I didn't overthink it. I wanted to create, a plane, sort of the back wall of the stage that this situation could be put in front of, put our protagonist in the center, surrounded by threats. We've got some onlookers and some details, and I thought the overall, visuals of the glowing mist or smoke would be really intriguing. I actually learned this trick from playing tabletop games. When a tank would blow up, we would take cotton and make it look like the tank was all blown up and on fire and smoking. So that's what, I haven't pulled out this trick in many years, but here it is. So I give you Monster Town. What's going to happen? Who will win? I think